Hey, what's going on, champs? I'm Aaron Deliosa. Welcome to an Immigrant's Life podcast. My podcast about immigrants, immigration, and everything in between. You know who it is, you know what it is. An Immigrant's Life on Instagram, Facebook, any platform you listen to. For the YouTube subscriber, I appreciate it. We're growing. Let's go. Also, guys, if you're following me on one platform, I'd appreciate it if you follow me on the other platforms too. Even though you don't have to listen to them, but it helps the podcast. Okay? So I'll appreciate that. It takes 2 seconds. It's free. You know what I mean? Do it for me. So enough for that call to action. I want to check out on you. How you guys doing? I hope you're not stressing too much. I hope you're exercising. I hope you're finding ways to stay positive. Or if, like me, your home feels more like the office, gym, and classroom than it does a home lately. My simple trick to bring calm into my space is to light candles. But did you know traditional paraffin wax candles are toxic and harmful to your health? That's why I use Driftwood Naturals 100% soy candles. You can fully relax with therapeutic essential oil scents. Plus, you'll rest easy knowing your family and home are safe with natural, clean burning candles. Canadian made, vegan, and eco friendly. This is a product you can feel good to have in your home. For a limited time, my Canadian listeners can take an additional 10% off. You'll pay no taxes and get free shipping on orders over $80. Use promo code AIL10 on driftwoodnaturals.ca. Hurry, offers expires April 6. Driftwood Naturals, lighting the path for incredible stories of immigrants, immigration, and everything in between. And that's the business. Let's talk about the episode. Today's guest is a fascinating and a very beautiful individual inside and out. So I'm pretty sure you will love her. So without further ado, let's get into the show. Isa, dalawa, tatlo. Today our guest is Juan Cool Brasilera. She's a musician, an audio producer, and a sound engineer. Everyone, please welcome Leticia Barbosa.
Hello, guys. My name is Leticia. I am currently living in Montreal, and I'm a sound engineer, as I said. Yeah.
Would you like to promote anything?
If you ever need a mixing, post-production done, what else? I do live engineering, recording. You can contact me on Facebook or Instagram. My Instagram is LettyB_SE.
That's cool. Anyway, as I mentioned, you're a musician, and I know you play the guitar
I
pretty
do.
well, actually.
Oh, thanks.
Do you play any other musical instruments?
No, not really. Like a little bit. I have like a harmonica that I fuck around with a little bit, and like some singing bowls. I like singing bowls a
What is
lot.
that?
It's like that. It's like that Buddhist kind of thing. It's like a bowl that
Oh,
you put like, and it does like, it's just like a sine wave, like a frequency. And like depending on the size of the bow, it makes a different type of frequency and different type of sine wave, and it's good for you, for your energy field, whatever. It helps you with that, or like even some type of anxiety or like stress or stuff like that.
so again, you're here because of I would like to talk to you about your immigration story. So, where were you from originally?
I'm from this small town in Brazil called Caraguatatuba. It's in the shore of São Paulo. So like the state of São Paulo is very known. So like there's the state, and then at the shore near the ocean, it's my town.
I know, it's so beautiful. Why did you move to Montreal?
My parents wanted to move to Montreal. I still don't know why Montreal. We could have gone to a warmer place, but whatever.
It's all good. Montreal's beautiful.
Oh yeah, it is. I still love Montreal so much.
Yeah, weather sucks, but
Well, it's just the winter. The winter is horrible and it's painful, but like summer in Montreal, it's really fun. Like I love Montreal in the summer. It's just the winter that sucks.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So, how old were you when you moved here?
I was 15.
Oh, you're 15.
I was
So you
15.
spent your childhood in Brazil.
I spent my childhood in Brazil. Yeah, I grew
And
up there.
how was that?
It was awesome. It was really, really great. Like I said, like I live like in a beach town, you know. So I would go to the beach all the time. To go to school, my way to go to school was like right by the ocean, so I'd see the sunrise every morning to go to school. It was great. And plus, like in Brazil, like the way my school was, it was like we would start at 7 a.m. and we would finish at noon. So I still had all day long to just like play on the street with my friends and like go to the beach or like just chill all day. Yeah.
It's half a day. That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah, my school finished at noon, so it was great. Yeah.
And what was your fondest memory growing up in Brazil?
Fondest memory is definitely my grandma's place. My grandma, one of my grandmas on my dad's side, she bakes like awesome cakes. So that's my favorite, her cakes. I would every day after school I would usually like eat lunch at her place, and then we would have like cake for dessert and whatever. So it was awesome. Yeah.
So you mentioned your parents wanted to move to Montreal. Did they move first and left you, or you guys moved at the same time?
My dad moved first, and then we stayed with my mom, and then after we came, everybody.
Why did they move?
Well, because like Brazil is a beautiful place, but at the same time is a very corrupt place, and it's hard if you're not rich. Not that like we weren't poor or anything, like we're good, but we weren't rich. And in Brazil, like that difference of status of like the middle class is like not really what can I say, like it's like you gotta be rich. That's the thing. If you want to have a good life in Brazil, you gotta be rich. That's and you know, and plus violence. They're like not too much in my town per se. Like my town, like yeah, there was shit happening, but like not as much as São Paulo or Rio. Like São Paulo or Rio is like another story, but still, you know, there's still like shit happening around. So it's just for a better life, and like, you know, to give like me and my sister a better future and a safer future.
So you're 15. You're pretty much pre-teen. What was it like when you first arrived?
Hard. It was really hard. We arrived in January 9. So it's almost going to be 12 years. We're here now. So in Brazil in January, first off, it's summer, right? So it's really hot. So we went from like a 45 degrees to minus 27 when we got here. I think it was minus 27 from what I remember. And so the cold was, at first it was nice because like me and my sister, we had never seen snow before, so we were like, whoa, that's awesome. But then after 5 minutes and I were like, oh no, that sucks. Like, and then after like 3 days we're like, oh, it's just white all the time, like, yo. And and plus on top of that, I didn't speak any French or English whatsoever. I only spoke Portuguese. I didn't even know the basic, like I knew the barely, because like I remember my first day of school, I went to a French school because I'm in Quebec. And but I live in the West Island of Montreal, so the West Island is more English. So the people in my class, they spoke English more. And so one of the girls, she came and she was like, she asked me like how old I was. She was like, how old are you? And then I said, Leticia. I didn't even know that how old are you meant what he means, you know? So then she was like, no, like 14, 13. And I was like, oh, 15. You know, like it was hard. Like me and my sister, like we had to learn 2 languages in one shot, and at 15 that was hard, you know. Yeah.
You know, I like that you said that we had to learn 2 languages at one time, and that's right, because you didn't speak both language.
I didn't.
Because I came here, I speak English. You know, at least I have that.
Yeah.
You didn't have that.
No, I didn't have that at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you mentioned your sister a lot. So is she the person that you leaned on the most around those difficult times?
Absolutely. My sister is my rock. Like she's younger than me. She's I'm 27. She's 23 now. She's 23. But she's way more responsible than I am. Like, I'm gonna be honest. She's way more, sometimes more mature. No, sometimes no. She is more mature than I am, and like she's strong as fuck. You know, like I did lean on her. She was my only friend at first. You know, I had nobody. Like, I didn't know anybody. Like you. And I didn't speak the language, you know, so it was hard to make friends at first for both of us. So, yeah.
Yeah, me too. I leaned a lot on my siblings when I moved here because, like you said, you didn't have friends. But did you, other than the language barrier, did you find it hard to make friends?
Yeah, well, yes and no, because in my class, I went to a class daycare, so like welcome class. So I was like all immigrants. So it was easy on that side because like everybody was immigrants, so everybody was like they didn't have friends or trying to make new friends. So we're kind of like a little community of immigrants. Even like one of my friends that I met when he was like one of my first friends when I moved to Canada. He's from the Philippines. He's still my best friend to this day. He's like my best friend to this day. And he was like one of the first people I met when I moved here. But at the same time, on the other aspect is like I found not necessarily the immigrants, but like the people in my school in general, they were very cold. I found for me, because I'm Brazilian, so I'm used to people being very warm and happy and like loud and, you know, and party all the time. So I for me, I found the people here a little bit cold. Like sometimes I would smile at someone because I'm used to it. I would just walk and like smile at someone and they'll be like, they look and be like, who the fuck are you? Like, why the fuck are you smiling at me? You know? And also, but yeah, I feel like that was hard. And another thing is because like in Brazil, I started going out at a very young age, like 12. I was going out to bars and drinking and going out to clubs.
There's no age limit?
There is, but nobody gives a shit. Like it's technically it's 18. but like nobody gives a fuck. Like I remember the first time I went out, I was 12 and I was with like two of my cousins, and like I think one of them was 14 and the other one was 15 at the time. And in my town, because it's a small town, the way we would go out, like we wouldn't really go out to clubs. Like there was like the downtown area, which was like 4 or 5 blocks, and then everybody would just like walk around, and there was like bars there, so we'd just walk in, get your drink, and go out and just chill. And I remember I was walking and like I saw a bar, and I like told my cousin, I was like, yo, can you go get me a drink? And she's like, go yourself. And I'm like, dude, I'm 12. They're not going to sell it to me. She's like, yes, they are. Just go. So I go and I get like a Smirnoff Ice in the bottle. The guy sells it to me. And then I get out. I'm walking on the street and I see cops coming towards us, and I freak out. I tell my cousin, yo, hide me. Like, take it. And she's like, just chill, dude. Like, calm down. It's fine. So then the cops pass by me, they look at me, they look at my drink, they look at me again, and they just keep walking, you know? And then I moved here at 15, and I was like, oh, I want to go out. And I was like, oh, no, here's really 18. You cannot at all. So I'm like, oh, like, you know, that was hard too, like the not going out until I was 18. But I still went out, like, I found my ways, but
fake IDs.
Yeah, fake IDs, or like I found ways. I knew people connections, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I love that you said that Brazilians are, you know, party people. Oh, let's have, you know, let's party. Because my culture is the same thing, right? Like we're very warm. Oh, you hungry? Oh, you want a drink? Come over here. They won't even ask your name. They won't even say hi to you.
Oh yeah.
They'll tell the 2 things they ask you is, did you eat, and what do you want to drink?
Yeah.
And then you come here and it's just like very individualistic. It's not that they care about themselves only. They're just, I don't know. It's like it takes time for them to trust.
Yeah. But I still do think that like, because I know since I moved here, I met people from like all over, because like especially Montreal is a very diverse city, and there's like many cultures. But I do feel that Canadians, people that were or Quebecers that were born here, I'm not saying that they are selfish, but they kind of are a little bit, tiny bit. Like, you know, they kind of like, they're more like you said, individualistic, or like egoistic in a way, but it's fine, like, you know, that's how they are, and that's okay, you know.
Yeah, I completely understand you. They, I know, like, because they're not close to their family, most of them.
Well, a lot of them are not, but like I know some people that are like they're like Quebecers or like Canadians that are very, 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 very close to their family, but a lot of them are not though. I guess it really depends on the family, you know, how they're raised or how their family works, and I guess it depends on that. Like,
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
All right, since you're an immigrant, Montreal is pretty much an immigrant city. Like majority of us are like immigrants here, right? But how was there a moment or an incident that you felt you're not welcome here?
That I felt like I wasn't welcomed here?
Yeah.
In Quebec, because I feel like Quebec is some I'm not saying all Quebecers, that's not generalized, but some Quebecers are very like what they call separatist, whatever. And if you don't speak French, it's like, oh, fuck you, you don't speak French, you know? So there were moments that I was like, what the hell? Because like I grew up in the West Island, and I did go to a French school when I moved here, but I went to a French school for like a year and a half, because like as soon as when I turned 16, I found out that I could go to an adult school in English. And in my French school, I was very bullied. So yeah, that's the thing. I was very bullied in my French school. So that's something that I felt that I wasn't welcomed. So when I was 16, I was like, fuck you, I'm going to an English school, like an adult English school. So I kind of, throughout the years, I kind of like lost my French a little bit. I didn't like lose it completely. I speak French fluently. Sometimes I will forget like one word or another, but like it happens, you know. But I remember one thing. One moment I was working security, and I was doing Oshiaga. I was at the entrance of Oshiaga.
Why did I not know before then? I could have gone in for free.
Yeah, well, but I wasn't doing the tickets. I was just checking the bags and the people. So, but yeah, so I'm checking bags and like I'm doing the search. So Oshiaga is it's a huge festival. So there's people from Ontario, there's people from the US that come. So not everybody at Oshiaga speaks French. There's a lot of people that don't speak French at all, you know? So I'm telling people, as the line is moving along, I'm telling people to open their bags, and I'm switching to French and English. You know, I'm saying, like, I'm not saying both at the same time. It's just like sometimes I'll say in English, sometimes I'll say in French. But and then like at one point, I'm this girl, she's passing, and I tell her, "Can you open your bag, please?" And then she's like, "Oh, we are in Quebec. We speak French here." And I'm like, "Excuse me?" And then she's like, "Oh, mais on est au Québec. Il faut que tu parles en français ici." And then I'm like, "Listen, oui, je sais qu'on est au Québec, mais on est aussi au Canada, and we also speak English here in Canada. Fait que si tu veux rentrer, open your bag." And then she looks at me and I'm like, are you gonna open your bag or not? Like, cause like, I'm not like, you're holding the line. Like, I'm not gonna be like, you know,
he's gonna be the bad guy.
It's like little things like that of like, and like, even one time I remember like I was chilling with my friends, like we went to a bar downtown, and like we're like outside smoking a cigarette, and like we're talking in English, obviously, and these two girls pass and they're like, "Oh, on est au Québec, si on parle français." And I'm like, "Yo, can you calm your fucking shit? Like, can I speak English if I want to speak English? Like, this is a free country. Like, yo, like, calm down, you know?" So that's like certain things that I feel not welcome.
Yeah, which is a normal thing here in Quebec. It happens often. But I just want to comment on the girl that said in Oshiaga, coming into Oshiaga saying, "Oh, we're in Quebec, you should speak French."
Yeah.
Even though she's going to see artists that sings English.
Exactly.
It doesn't make sense.
Exactly. It makes no sense. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's so funny.
Yeah.
But I wanna go back a little bit on. You mentioned that you got bullied in high school. Would you like to talk about that?
Sure. Yeah, like there was like this specific girl that she was like the popular girl at school, you know. She was very, very loud, extremely obnoxious, and she used to bully me a lot. And for whatever reason, she just picked me, and she used to call me lesbo, gay, and like I am gay, I am a lesbian, but like at that time I wasn't out yet, and I wasn't even comfortable with myself to admit that yet, you know. So that was very, very hard. And like at one point I got into a fight with her at the school bus, because we had the same school bus, because she lived like close to my house. And I got into a fight with her because like she was I was with my sister and we were speaking Portuguese, and then she just started imitating us speaking Portuguese, but like in a mocking way, you know. Yeah, like it was very annoying. Like it never got physical, thank God. But very like she's just like all the time, you know, she just like on school, she just like make little comments and just like with her friends and just like laugh at me and like whatever. And like it was hard. It was hard, you know. But
Did you ever fight back?
yeah. Yeah, I did. At one point I said, she was calling me a lesbian or whatever, and I was like, why are you after me? Do you want some? I'm like, are you interested? Like, is that why you're like annoying the shit out of me all the time? Do you want to make out with me or something? Like, I don't know. Like, because it's ridiculous, you know. And then she'd shut up at that point, and she walked away because she didn't know what to say. Yeah, that was one of the times. And then yeah, but at some point she stopped. But actually no, she didn't stop. I got out of that school, so that's how it stopped. But yeah, it was annoying.
I'm sorry that you had to go through that.
No, it's okay.
Have you forgiven her?
Yeah, well, yeah, like she's just dumb. You know, and like dumb people and like insecure people, they don't know what they're doing. They're just stupid. So like I just feel bad for her, so I forgive her because I feel bad for her. There's you know, I don't have any bad feelings because it was just dumb.
That's right.
You know?
You mentioned that you're a lesbian.
Yeah,
When did you come out?
I came out, I was 20 years old. So 7 years ago. I waited until I had a girlfriend to come out because I didn't want my parents to be like, oh, it's just a phase. You know, I felt like that if I said that I was, because at first I came out as bi, actually, because I did date a guy, one guy. It's like my only exception. And I actually dated him like, even after I dated girls. Like I went back with him. He was like my first boyfriend. And then I dated a girl, and that's when I came out. And then I dated him again. But him, it was just like it was his personality and the person that he was that I was attracted to, you know. So that's why he was my exception, because he was a really, really nice, cool guy, really amazing person. But yeah, so I waited until I had a girlfriend to tell my parents, because also because I feel like I always knew. Like obviously I always knew, but like, and that thought was always in my mind since I was a little kid. But I was always like, oh no, it's just a thought, like it's wrong, because my family is very religious. So I was always scared of like, and I grew up learning that being gay is a sin or whatever, you know. So I was scared of accepting that, you know. So it was I always pushed it away. So yeah. But finally, when I had a girlfriend, I was like, fuck it. Like, and I was in Canada, so I felt like here's more accepted. It's more, you know, so I felt like I felt better coming out at that point.
Did your parents or family accepted it well, or how did they take it?
My sister was the first one I came out to. She was the person that I thought was gonna take better. She was the one that took worse from like everybody. She didn't talk to me for like a month, like only the necessary. My mom, because like when I told my mom, she wasn't here, she was in Brazil, so I told her through Skype. And her first reaction, she was like, I knew it. She was like, I asked, because she did ask me many times while I was growing up if I was, and I was always like, no, no, no.
Why? Was there instances that shows that you are?
I've always been a tomboy. I've always like big like guy shirts and like a hat backwards, like always since I was a kid. I'm a very, very tomboy. I always had like more guy friends than girlfriends. Like at school, I'd always chill with the boys. I'll never chill with the girls. I was always with the boys. So she had those ideas, you know. So that's why. But even till this day, like she accepts it, and she knew, but she still like, she still says that she wishes that I end up with a guy, even though she knows that's never gonna happen. She says that, but yeah. And my dad was the worst. No, my dad, because my dad, I never really had a talk with my dad about that. We never like sat down and talked about it. My dad caught me with my first girlfriend. So that's how he found out about it.
You were at home?
I was at home. Yeah. I was at home and my dad called me, and like that was really bad. And like, and then apparently, I don't know, because we never had a talk, but my mom told me that he told her that he wanted to jump off the balcony, but like we live in a building, we live on the second floor, so he wouldn't even die. He would just hurt himself and like give us trouble because we would have to take care of him. So yeah, but we never really, but like now he's chill. Like he knows, like my whole family knows now, even my family in Brazil, my grandparents, they know. Everybody knows now, and everybody's very accepting of it. Even like my ex-girlfriend, she came over like last Christmas. You know, she would be here for my parents' birthdays and everything. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's cool. Yeah. You said that your sister took it worst. Do you think she felt betrayed because you guys were so close?
I don't think she felt betrayed. I think she just didn't, because like we talked about it, and the thing is, like she said that her main problem was my girlfriend at the time. She did not like my girlfriend because she knew my girlfriend, because my girlfriend, she would come over all the time, but she was like my friend. You know. And then like the way I came out to my sister, it was Christmas, and we went to buy Christmas gifts, and I was like, oh, I have to buy a gift for Michelle. And then she's like, why are you buying a gift for Michelle? And I was like, oh, because she's my girlfriend. And then that's when she was like, you know, and then she just like turned, and then she just didn't talk to me at all from that moment on. And so like we talked, and she said, she was like, but her main problem was Michelle. She didn't like Michelle. So she was like, it wasn't the fact that you were gay. Like, yeah, it was hard to understand too, because like you're a sister, and it's just like she just felt like it was her. And my sister too, she was brought up in a very religious way, you know, so had with all those ideals and everything. So but now she's good with it. Now everybody's fine with it.
Yeah. She accepts it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like that earlier you said that in high school you weren't ready yet to come out.
No.
Right? There was a quote from Rick Martin when he was being interviewed by Oprah, and he says that, you know, it's about being ready. I'm not ready yet.
No. It's hard, you know, especially like, because Rick Martin too, like he's Latino, right? So his family is probably very religious too. He's probably brought up in a very religious setting too, you know. And like it's hard when you grow up in a setting like this, when everybody's telling you that it's wrong and it's a sin and you can't. It's hard to accept yourself, you know. Like you need to be ready, and like you need to be okay with yourself. Once you're okay with yourself and you accept who you are, then you can share that with everybody, but you need to do that yourself first.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I bet you felt that weight lifted up when you say, by the way.
Oh yeah, it was huge. It was a huge weight. Like I felt so liberated, and so like I'm like, oh, okay, I can be myself now. I don't need to hide. I still had to hide a little bit because my mom, she didn't want my grandparents to know, because she's like, they're old, and if they find out, they're gonna die.
They won't die, but
Yeah, but like finally, like with like one of my exes, like he got pretty serious. We even moved in together, like we lived together for like almost 2 years. So at that point I was like, yo, like they gotta know, like I'm living with the girl, you know. And like but my grandparents, they accepted pretty well, better than my parents, better than my sister. Like
Really?
my grandma, she was like, as long as you're happy, I'm happy, you know, like I don't care. Like, yeah, they accepted pretty well.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, grandparents are awesome.
They are.
They're the best.
Yeah.
So, thank you for being honest, by the way.
Oh, no worries.
So, I know you work with kids that has special needs.
Oh yeah, I did do that. Yeah.
What did you do with them?
It was a kind of like a daycare. Not only kids, adults as well, all ages. Okay. So it's like a lot of people with autism, Down syndrome, cerebral paralysis, all kinds of like heavy mental illness. They would come to the daycare. The most of them lived in like residences. In like residences, pretty like boring. There's not much for them to do. So their families would send us to the daycare because we would do activities with them. We'd bring them to the park. We'd play with them. Yeah.
How old were you when you got the job?
I think I was 22 or 23. Yeah, 22 or 23 at the time. Yeah.
And how did you get it?
Random. I just applied. I was like desperately looking for a job, and I was literally applying for everything. I wasn't even like looking at the job description. I was just apply. And then they called me, and then they're like, oh, you. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what is this? It's like, oh, it's like a daycare for people with mental illness. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, can you come for an interview? I'm like, sure. So like I went for the interview, and they're like, oh, okay, cool, you can start tomorrow. I'm like, really? I'm like, okay. Like I thought you needed to have some kind of
background check.
Like, well, like, yeah, or like some kind of like a study on that, you know, like a préposé or something, you know. But no, they're like, oh, here, you got the job. And I was like, okay.
I guess no one's applying.
Yeah, well, it was very they paid minimum wage, and like it was very, very intense too, you know, because sometimes you have crisis, some people would have crisis, they'll get violent. Like we had to call the cops at some point because one of the guys with autism, he got extremely violent. And he was just like throwing shit everywhere, throwing chairs. Like he pulled like the hair of like this girl that was like in a wheelchair. And like, you know, so sometimes it was tough, you know. And not only that, we had to change them.
Oh.
Like change diapers of adults.
Ooh,
like adults. Dude. Like it was,
for minimum wage?
For minimum wage.
You're a saint.
Thank you. We're like, not only me, everybody that worked there were saints. Like we had to do that. We had to feed them. There was like some people that they had to eat through like their belly to tubes, you know, and we had to do that. I'm like, I don't have the credentials to do that. I'm like, yo, what do you like? Okay, like just the manager, she came and she taught me how to do it. It's pretty simple. It's not hard at all. It's simple. but still, like, the responsibility, you know, and you have to give them medication and whatever, and you're getting minimum wage for that shit. Like, I was like, even at some point I was like, yo, I worked there for like 2 years. I left because I started school for audio engineering. So that's why I left, because I really liked, even though it was a minimum wage job and it was very hard, I loved it because I love the people, you know, like, and I love their smiles when I would play with them. And I had like my favorite. He had Down syndrome. He's like old. He passed away recently. He was the cutest, you know. He had Down syndrome, and he was like 60 years old or something. He had like big cheeks, and he talked like a baby, and he walked like a baby, and he was like grumpy sometimes, you know. He wouldn't let people play with his toys because he was like my baby, you know. But yeah, like, I loved it for the people. It was fun, you know. It was fun to see their smiles, you know, because they live a hard life, you know.
So, is this the time that you became a security guard as well?
No, that was before.
So you
I
were
was a security guard before.
What did you do, like, other than the Oceaga thing?
Well, I was mostly doing, because I got like a temporary license, and it was mostly for the summer festivals, because like there was this company that they were in charge, the security company, and they were in charge at the time of all the summer festivals in Montreal. So they would give people temporary license, meaning that we wouldn't have to do the course. We would just pay like $120 or something, get a security license for 6 months, and just work for the summer festivals, and that's it.
How fun was that?
It was super fun. It honestly, like, I got to watch some concerts for free on the stage. Like, I remember that was like one year, I think it was Lorde that was headlining or something. I'm not sure if she was headlining or like if she was like before the headline, whatever, but like finished my shift right when she started. So I just like ran to the main stage and I was like, get out of my way, security going through. I get to the gate and then the guy looks at me, he sees my fucking security uniform. He's like, go in. I go like right like next to, like right on top of the stage, and I'm just chilling and watching Lorde like right on my face. I watched Metallica right on my face. She was just like many awesome shows, and that's like one of the things that made me want to go into audio and live. I love doing live. Live is very, very stressful. It's like insane because like if shit goes wrong, like usually is our fault. Like usually they put their fault on the sound engineer people. Anything goes wrong in a live show, it's our fault.
Yeah.
So
you have the most buttons to push and pull.
Yeah. It's a very stressful thing, but it's awesome. You know, I love that. I love that adrenaline. I love that stress that like we have to go. Don't fuck up, you know, and everybody's just mean. Everybody's so mean to each other. Like, fuck you, what are you doing? Put that fucking cable. What the fuck are you dumb? Like it's intense, you know?
Yeah.
Like, but it's fun. It's fun.
Who are the artists you worked with?
Like since I graduated, I worked for Subpack. I haven't worked in like with artists specifically. I worked for Subpack.
What's that?
Subpack, it's like this company that they make this haptical sound system. So basically, it's like something that you could put on your chair, or you can wear as a backpack. There's one that you can wear as a backpack. And basically everything that is under 200 hertz, like you plug your music or your movies or like your video game into it, whatever you want to plug into it. And then everything that is under 200 hertz is going to be transferred to the pack through you, and it's going to vibrate. It's like a bone conduction system. You feel the bass instead of hearing the bass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like so they sell a lot to like sound engineers and whatever, because when you're mixing, usually the bass is something that is very complicated to deal with when you're mixing, because of the way bass travels, the way the low frequency they travel. Uh, if your room is not acoustically treated, you can have big problems with that. So for sound engineering people, it's great. The sub pack is great because your room doesn't need to be acoustically treated for bass, because the bass is going straight to your body. The bass is not traveling in the air. The bass is going straight to you. It's awesome product. So I was mainly working with them, and then the pandemic hit. Also, my contract finished with them at the same time that the pandemic hit. And then I did some post-production for audiobooks. I did during not the summer, but like the end of summer, beginning of fall a little bit, I did some live events with this company that's called Yoga Tribes. They do immersive yoga classes with like headphones. So there's like soft music and like the teacher's voice on the headphones. So it's kind of like
if you're doing your positions, that's kind of hard to keep the headphones on.
No, because the headphones that they have, they're really good. Like you can move whatever. They stay on. So that's pretty much. I did some live with like silent movies. There was like this group that they would show a silent movie, but there would be a live band playing to the silent movie.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I did like the sound for them, and like just gigs like that. Like right now it's mainly like I'm mainly trying to get gigs as much as possible. But it's hard. It's really hard with the pandemic. It's been really, really hard.
Yeah. But my question is, do you really use all the buttons?
It depends. It depends on what you want to do with the song. Like, you can try shit out and be like, I want to press all the buttons and see what the fuck happens. You can always do that if you want. It's okay. But usually if you know what you're doing, you know where to go, and you know which buttons to press when they needed to be pressed. But it depends. Sometimes you just feel like having fun and you can't press all the buttons.
Back in the days when they record, the whole band is in the room, right? Pretty much. Do you prefer that, or do you prefer recording them individually?
It depends. Like if let's say I have someone that is like playing the guitar and singing at the same time, but it's like they have that sometimes because like if let's say I record someone that plays the guitar at the same time while they sing, sometimes it's better if you do it at the same time, because like if they're used to play like that, and if they sing without the guitar, they might lose the vibe. And you don't want them to lose the vibe. Usually the vibe is very important. It's like one of the most important things in a song. So, because the thing is, like, when you record them all at the same time, you can have a lot of bleeding in other mics. And that means that, like, I can have on my mic that is recording the guitar, for example, I can have the drum sound in that mic. So when I'm gonna mix it, I'm gonna have, like, when I look at my guitar track, I might have a drum sound in my guitar track. So if I want to edit my guitar track in some way, it might affect the drum sound because I have bleeding of drum sound in my guitar track.
So complex.
It is very complex. So I prefer like recording separately, but it can be done altogether. It can be done as long as you know what the fuck you're doing and how to deal with the bleeding and all of that. If you know how to deal with those things, it can be done, but it's just more complicated. It's I find personally.
Is that what gave you the most challenge as a sound engineer?
The most challenge as a sound engineer. No, not necessarily. I'd say not necessarily. I feel like the biggest challenge as a sound engineer is finding a job. That's the biggest challenge as a sound engineer. Yeah. It's a hard world, especially being a woman, because it is a male dominated industry. So, but now it's getting more and more open to a woman, but it's still very hard, you know?
For sure.
No.
Who's the musically inclined in your family? Where did you get your talent from?
My mom. My mom, she used to be, she is a singer. And she used to sing in the church. And when she was younger, she used to have a band. And she used to play at bars and whatever. Yeah, I got it from her.
You sing too?
I do, yeah. Yeah, I got that from her too. She's a very good critic. Like when I do my singing, she's always like, if I'm singing in my room, whatever, like I'm doing a cover of a song or something, she'll come in and she'll be like, "Oh no, you need to fix that. You like you fucked up there. Do it again. Change that tone." Like no, like yeah, she's very good.
You appreciate it though?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sometimes like she does it. Sometimes I annoy her with that because sometimes like I'm doing a song and I'm like, "Mom," and then she's like, "What?" I'm like, "Can you come check a song?" And she's like, "Come on." She's like, "No, not now." And I'm like, "Mom." Yeah.
Do you write your own songs?
No. I wish though. I wish, like I really wish I could, but I don't know why I have a blockage with that. I was never able to write anything. I've tried, but I'm not. It's not my thing. My thing is, yeah.
Which part is the hard for you? The playing the musical instrument, putting the music, or the writing part?
I feel like the writing and finding the melody with the lyrics to the song. When I'm mixing is different. Because mixing is kind of like, for me, it's like kind of like a meditation. I get into like a meditation state when I'm mixing. And it's just like, I'm just like so in the zone that is like, I could go like 10 hours. Usually it doesn't take that long, but I could, like, if I'm mixing for like 10, like I could go 10 hours, like it, and just be like on my computer and like not even eat, go to the bathroom or anything. Like I'm just like in it, you know.
Tunnel vision.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
You said meditation. Do you meditate?
I do.
Yeah.
I do every morning.
Do you have one of the mantra and everything?
Well, yeah, I do. I do guided meditations because, like, I find that easier for me to like, because I feel like if I just try to meditate just with myself, I can focus on like my breathing or whatever. My mind always just like wanders and like goes everywhere. But I feel like with the guided meditations, there's like someone saying like, okay, now breathe that way. Now think about that. Now, you know, like concentrate on that. And like, that's easier for me. Like I do it on Gaia. There's like this website called Gaia.com. So I do my meditations there.
We're reverse. I don't want to hear the guy.
Oh yeah.
Because if once the guy says, breathe quietly. Bro, come on, man. I'm trying to focus here, man.
Yeah.
So I prefer doing it myself. Yes, the thoughts wanders, but I know there's a school of meditation that teaches you that, yeah, let the thought comes in and then the thought comes out.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. But but I feel like it's like at the same time I'm very OCD, and I actually do have OCD. Like I was diagnosed with it when I was younger, and I feel like the way I meditate is a little bit like part of my OCD ritual. In a way, because like I have like all the videos, and then I have to go like one video in order, and even like,
You're doing it different.
I know, but it's my OCD. But I do love meditating though. But like, sometimes if I'm high, like on mushrooms or whatever, then I can really meditate. Then I'm gone, you know.
Doesn't like if you're in mushroom, you hallucinate, right?
It depends.
Oh yeah.
Not every time. It really depends. I guess it depends on the vibe. It depends on the people on the mushrooms too, because you can get shit mushroom, or you can get really good mushroom. So it depends on that. But like, yeah, I feel like meditating on that. But for me, like that's something that I would actually like to talk about. Ayahuasca. Do you know what ayahuasca is?
I know of it.
Yeah. So I've done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're brave, man.
It was intense.
What did you see?
Oh, I saw God. Like, because I went to Peru. I literally went to Peru. I went to the Amazon with a shaman, the right way, you know? And I, like, in the middle of the forest was intense. Like, I literally, for me, my trip was like, I was in the sky. That's how I woke up in my trip. I was on top of a cloud, and I see this eagle, a giant eagle, coming towards me. And then this eagle is like, oh, you're gonna come to heaven. I'm gonna show you heaven today. You're gonna have the privilege of talking to God today. And I'm like, okay. And it's like, but for you to do that, you're gonna have to let go of a lot of negativity that's inside of you. I'm like, sure. As I say, sure, I start puking, and I'm puking, and I'm puking, and I'm like, what the hell? And it's like, but it's literally, I feel like every time I puke, I feel like there is like this negative energy coming out of me every single time. It's like this negativity getting out of me. So I'm like literally purifying my body, you know?
Yeah.
And so finally, like, I finish puking, and we go, and then like I see there's like this huge pyramid. And I knew there was like this huge light on top of the pyramid, and then like I knew that that's where we're going. That's where God was, whatever. So we start going up the pyramid, and I'm laying down on the mat in Shavasana. And every time, because the eagle that was like with me, she told me, because it was a she, and I was calling him mother for some reason. Every time I would talk to the eagle, I'll call him mother. And she told me, like, there's going to be things that are going to try to distract you from getting to the top of the pyramid, because you have a limited time with us. So, and those negative energies, they don't want you to see what you have to see. You know, so they're going to try to distract you. And those distractions would come as like little movies of like things in my life that piss me off, that make me angry, or like even good things. Like sometimes there'll be little movies about my mom, or like good things that happen in my life, and I would look at those little videos, and I would distract myself from going up the pyramid.
Is it like a screen while you're flying?
It was weird, because like I was going up the pyramid, and then it was like they were flying by me, like little videos like flying by me. And every time I would look at one of them, and like I would focus on one of them, my body, which was in Shavasana, literally open, I would go to my side and close down in a fetus position when I would focus on those things. And then like the ego would be like, remember why you're here, focus on the light. And then every time I'd be like, oh shit, I gotta focus. my body would open up in Shavasana again. Like I wasn't even trying. It was just
It
like
just happened.
automatically, you know? And then when we're almost getting to the top of the pyramid, the ego tells me, she's like, okay, now you're going to have to let go of your body. I'm like, excuse me.
No.
I'm like, what? And it's like, yeah, because like where we're going, your body is like, it's just a vessel that you're using to survive on earth, but that's not who you are. So, and you can get into heaven with that body. So I'm like, oh, okay. So as she's saying that, I remember I was like laying down on my belly, and at this point my hands were like on my belly, and I could feel like my belly going up and down with my breathing. And then at some point my hands just stopped going up and down, and I'm like, what the fuck? But I'm like, but I knew it's still breathing, but I'm like, this is not normal. Like my hands are not moving. And then like I literally felt as if I was like getting up, but I wasn't. And then like I opened my eyes because I freaked out. And then I felt my body like falling back down, but I wasn't getting up. So then I'm like, the ego is telling me, don't worry about it. Just go, like, let go. Don't worry about it. I'm going to stay here taking care of you. Nothing's going to happen. Just trust me, go. And I'm like, okay. So finally I was able to let go. And then I saw myself coming out of my body, and then I saw my whole body like disintegrate, like right in front of me, like layer by layer. It was like my skin, then my muscles, my bones, my veins, like everything layer by layer. And then I was just like this ball of light and energy. And then like I was in this place, and I was like connected to everything. Everything was part of me, and I was part of everything. And it was just beautiful. Full of colors, full of shapes, full of like love. I felt love and compassion when I was in that place. And then I just saw this being of energy that like came towards me, and I was like, come, I'm gonna show you around. Maybe it was an angel, I don't know what the fuck. But it was just this being of energy, and it's just like showing me. And then we got to the top of the pyramid, and I just saw this like huge energy, and it looked like the flower of life, or like a mandala of some kind. And it was just like expelling this like energy of like pure fucking love and compassion. And that's when I realized that was God. And then I just put my arms up, and I was just like, thank you. Just like, I was so grateful for being able to see all that and be in that place. And then God started talking to me, and then like he showed me a lot of like
You've been a bad girl.
kind of. No, but it's just like showing me like a lot of parts of my life, and a lot of people in my life, and like things that needed to be worked on, how to work on those things. And at the end, I remember like God was telling me, she was like, like your time is almost done with us. You have to go back. And I was like, I don't want to go back. Like, can I stay? I'm like, yo, this is beautiful. I don't want to go back to that shitty place. Like where everybody's like hates everybody and shit. Like I was like, yeah, no, but you gotta, like everybody has their mission and something that they have to do in this plane. But nobody's from that place. It's just a test. It's just a phase that everything that is part of me needs to go through, and everything that exists is part of me. So, and he told me, it was like, just like, all I need from you and for literally everybody in the world is just to love and be happy and just help and take care of the people next to you. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to love. Just love, be happy, compassion, help, take care of the people around you. That's it. But it was crazy. Like I also saw, like at one point I was chilling with God, like it just showed me how everything is connected. And it was like, so basically, like it looked like a kind of like a spider web. And like God, which was like the energy, was like right in the middle, and like everything was coming out of it. And everything was like interconnected. And I saw like people, planets, dimensions, like everything that exists connected to that one point in the middle, which is God or the source or whatever you want to call it, you know? Yeah, it was a beautiful experience. It changed my life. It really, really, really changed my life. And I think that everybody should do that at least once in their lives, because it's important. It's important. It's a medicine. It's like literally a medicine for your soul. It cleans you up. You know, it renews you. I got out of there like a new woman. I remember when the trip stopped, like it was done, the shaman, because like it was like pitch black, the place, because we did it at night too.
And did you go with someone, by the way?
Yeah, I went with my friend.
Okay.
One of my friends. So he lit up the candle. And he looked at me, and I was naked, by the way, because when I was puking, I puked on my shirt. So I just took off my shirt. I didn't give a shit. I'm like, yo, this is just a vessel that my spirit is using to survive. So I don't give a fuck. I'll be naked if I want to be naked, you know? So I took off my shirt, and then like when the shaman like lit up the candle, my friend, he looked at me, he's like, you're naked.
Your titties are out.
And I'm like, yep. And then like the shaman was like, he looked at me, he was laughing. And then he was like, he really looked at me and he was like, you're a new woman, huh? Like you were reborn tonight. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. It was so crazy because the next day, there was like some people that had like a tarantula, and then the shaman was passing the tarantula to everybody. Everybody was holding like this huge like fucking tarantula, and I'm good. I'm scared shitless of spiders. You know, I'm traumatized from when I was a kid in Brazil, because in Brazil I have big ass fucking spiders too. So I'm like, what the fuck? And then like, he comes to the tarantula, and he's like, oh, do you want to hold it? And I'm like, no. And he's like, why not? And I was like, because like it's a tarantula. Like, no. And then he's like, he looked at me like right into my eyes, and he's like, Leticia, you went through the worst last night, and you're scared of a little spider? And then like when he told me that, like that fucking hit me, and I was like, bro,
who the hell is this guy, Tony Robbins?
I was like, yo, man, that was, and then I was like, yo, he fucking gave me the tarantula. I held the tarantula, and I felt so connected to that fucking tarantula. It was like he was part of me. He was nice. I was holding him, soft. It's so soft. And it's like, you know, because tarantulas, apparently, they don't bite you.
They don't.
They don't. So, like, whatever, you know? Like, why am I scared of you? Like, no reason, you know? That's, like, what I learned. Like, one of the things that I learned is, like, fear is such a bullshit feeling. It's like, we are afraid, usually, of things that hadn't happened. Like, because usually it was like, oh, I'm not going to do that because I'm going to scared of what may happen. You don't know. Like, it's a possibility, yeah, but you don't know. Like, you're not going to know unless you try. You know, like, and that's the thing. Like, fear keeps human beings from doing things and from experiencing things. And that's why we're here. We're here to experience life because it's so short. We're here for a limited amount of time. We're not going to be in this life forever. We're eternal beings. Yeah, we're fucking eternal beings. Like, when we die, death doesn't fucking exist. Death is just a passageway to the next chapter, which nobody knows what it is, but it's not the end. But this life is so short, so we need to live it, you know? We can't be afraid of things.
Wise words from a wise woman, Leticia. Thank you so much for doing the podcast.
Yeah.
You were awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was awesome.
Yeah. Have a good evening.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Again, Leticia, thank you for coming on the podcast. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, listeners, for listening. This is Aaron Deliosa for An Immigrant's Life. I'll see you guys later.